Welcome back, everyone, to the deep dive. Today, we're plunging into a really high-stakes clash from the FIFA Club World Cup 2025. It's the Seattle Sounders facing off against Atletico Madrid.
Yeah, a big one.
Definitely. Our sources for this are, well, pretty solid. A comprehensive match overview plus all the accompanying metadata. Together, they give us a really precise picture, of the game's key moments and the underlying dynamics.
Gives us a lot to work with.
Exactly. So our mission today, let's unpack the significant plays, pinpoint maybe some standout individual performances, and really try to get our heads around what this match's outcome means for both these teams. They're navigating what the sources are calling a fiercely competitive tournament. Okay, let's unpack this.
All right. And the big headline, straight out of Lumen Field in Seattle. Atletico Madrid grabbing a, pretty decisive 3-1 victory over the Sounders.
He won, yeah.
And what's really interesting here, something the metadata highlights, is the context for Atletico. This win, it wasn't just, 3 points. It let them bounce back hard after that tough loss they had against PSG.
Oh, right, the PSG match.
Exactly. So this grabs them their first vital points in Group B. It's basically a statement game, kind of resets their whole campaign.
Yeah, it really feels like a critical turning point for them, especially with that 3-1 scoreline. Now, the sources point to Pablo Barrios as the main architect of their advantage, an incredible brace from him.
He was on fire.
Found the net early, 11th minute, then again in the 54th. And then Axel Witsel, just after halftime, 47th minute, seals control with a powerful header.
The header was key.
Albert Rusnák did pull one back for Seattle, but yeah, it just wasn't enough to really shift the momentum, was it? So, okay, beyond just the goals, what did the metadata show about Barrios' impact? He sounds like he was everywhere.
Oh, he absolutely was. Man of the match, no question. The overview specifically calls out his superb off-the-ball movement. He was just constantly finding those little pockets of space, between Seattle's defensive line and their midfield.
Ah, classic Barrios.
Made his 2 finishes look almost easy, very clinical.
Yeah.
And yeah, that Witsel header right after the break, equally crucial. It wasn't just another goal. It was perfectly timed, came off a well-worked set piece.
Right, the set piece.
It just solidified Atletico's control exactly when Seattle might have hoped, to build some momentum after halftime.
Oh.
Really highlights Atletico's strength in those set-piece situations. The metadata points that out as a consistent threat they pose.
Makes sense.
But it also raises an interesting point. While Atletico were clearly dominant, the overview does mention a pretty clear missed chance from Sorloth.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, which maybe makes you wonder a little about their finishing against perhaps even tougher defenses later on. Could they be more clinical?
That's a good point. Something to watch. Now, flipping over to the Sounders, this loss, it drops them to 0-2 in Group B, and their next opponent, PSG. Ouch.
Yeah, tough ask.
The sources literally describe this as a group of death, and after this result, you can really see why. Can you maybe elaborate a bit on why this group got that nickname?
Absolutely. The group of death thing, it's highlighted in the overview. It's not just about having, 2 strong teams. It's because all 3, PSG, Atletico, and Seattle, they were all considered top contenders coming out of their respective leagues.
Right. All champions or near champions?
Exactly. So that creates this incredibly competitive environment where, honestly, every single point is fiercely fought for. Makes a difficult start. Seattle's even more, precarious.
Deep hole to climb out of.
For sure. Though, even with the loss, the metadata did flag a couple of bright spots for Seattle. Stefan Fry, the keeper, made a couple of really crucial saves under heavy pressure, kept the scoreline from getting even wider. So it shows, moments of individual resilience, even if the overall team performance wasn't quite there.
Okay, some positives at least.
Meanwhile, Atletico will be looking to build some serious momentum off this win.
Right. So let's wrap this deep dive up. What's the kind of distilled essence here? Our analysis of Seattle versus Atletico Madrid, it clearly shows Atletico's decisive 3-1 win was, largely driven by those standout performances from Barrios and Witsel.
Absolutely key players.
Gives them really crucial momentum after that initial tournament stumble. In contrast, Seattle, they're undeniably facing an incredibly challenging path forward in what's, rightly called a group of death.
And what's really compelling to think about, I think, is the psychological side of it. A dominant win like this. What does that do for Atletico's campaign? It's not just points. It's a massive confidence boost, right? A statement.
Yeah, sends a message.
And conversely, think about the challenge for the losing team. Recovery, adaptation. especially with a powerhouse like PSG next.
Huge mental test.
Exactly. It just highlights how a single match can profoundly swing a team's entire trajectory, their self-belief, in a tournament like this. It's a massive test of mental fortitude.
That's a